So today I wanted to give you some tips for eye makeup that have kind of changed my eye makeup techniques recently. So yeah, if you would like to learn my latest and greatest eyeshadow techniques, please keep watching. So I always start with a eyeshadow base, whether it be a concealer or a paint pot or whatever it may be. I have been loving the MAC Soft Ochre. I already did my brows and I just cleaned up right underneath with concealer, but for the base of my eyelid I am going to blend out a bit of MAC Soft Ochre. I just recently fell back in love with this product. I know that it's an oldie, but a goodie for sure. And you can just see how much cleaner this eye canvas is versus this eye canvas. Next, I always go in and take the foundation that I'm going to use for my face and just blend it out with a beauty blender on my lid. For today, I want to use the CoverGirl Stay Fresh on my face. So I am going to blend this out on my lid. This way we have a nice even canvas. I hate when you can see kind of the difference between the eyelid base and the face base. It just all needs to be cohesive. Then I always take a fluffy brush and just work the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder into it a bit. I am going to make sure I have no creases. And I'm just going to pack the powder. Well, I shouldn't say pack because I'm using a little bit, but I'm going to dust the powder onto the lid. Next, when starting the eyeshadow, I always go in with two brushes, one that's going to be more flat to pack on the color and one that's going to be more of a buffing and blending brush. This is the MAC 239, this is the Zova 227. And whether you are using a powder or a cream product, I still use two brushes. Today I am going to start building up the color with the Bobbi Brown eye crayon in taupe. This is my favorite. I am using a cream product for the reason that I feel like most of you know how to use regular shadows. So hopefully this can provide some insight for how to use some cream products. So I'm just putting a little bit on the brush and I'm gonna start right at the lash line. So like the outer half of the lash line. I'm gonna pack the color on. And then I'm going to take my fluffy brush and just diffuse. So as you can see, I already did a lot of the blending with how I deposited the product. But this is just going to further ensure that everything is nice and seamless. And it's really important that you look at what you're doing with your eyes open as well. Don't just close one eye and do all of this work on one eye and then open it at the end, because sometimes I find that I need to blend up a little bit further because I don't want all of the product to just be on my lid. Cool. And now you can see we just have a bit of depth and dimension on that eye versus this eye. Okay, so I went ahead and did it on the other side as well, and now I'm going to take that brush that I used to deposit the translucent powder, and I'm just going to pick up on my bronzer. So now I just always work the product into the back of my hand, more so that it really gets into the brush. And again, I'm just going to start to focus this tone on the outer corners. And I always do my eyes first. This way I can kind of blend like a mad woman on the outskirts of where I would typically have my eyeshadow, because like if I had foundation on right now, I would not be able to blend all the way down here. And then after I'm done depositing the color on the outer corners, I very lightly just start pushing it into my lash line. I know that the brush is fluffy, so it's going to kind of get on your lid, but that's fine. So now the next step is something that I started doing ever since I started assisting out here in LA. This is what Lindsay does on most of her clients, and I absolutely love how it looks. It is totally a newer technique for me. So I'm going to take MAC Teddy liner. I've tried other browns, but this one is clearly the best and my favorite. And I am just going to line my upper lash line. And then I'm going to take a MAC 242 brush and I'm going to blend it out. So don't be afraid to really blend the color up. Because we're essentially just making a nice, it's going to be like eyeliner without looking like eyeliner, and we're creating a nice shadow behind our lash line to make it look a bit more dense. So I never really go in to that very inner tear duct on top with darker tones, just because the way that my eyes are shaped and the size of my eyes, it just makes my eyes look so much smaller. So I like to leave kind of like that downward angle nice and bare and nice and light, I should say, because I do usually put something lighter there. And you can just see the difference between this eye and this eye. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side real quick, and I will be right back. Okay, so now that this eye is done, I'm just going to go ahead and pack some eyeshadow right on top of the cream product. So I don't want to say another mistake, but another thing that I used to do differently back home before I moved out here and started assisting was I started to just continue to make this even darker with darker eyeshadows, and then I just got this really crazy smoky eye, which I didn't want. So you can actually take these lighter tones and you can just pack it right on top, and I just go back and forth with the new brush and the brush that I see how you just get like a nice smoked out look. And if you end up wanting it to be darker, you can go ahead and just add a little bit of darker tones. And next I'm going to go back in with that Teddy eye kohl from MAC, and I am just going to rim right underneath my upper waterline. So those are typically like my main base steps. Again, you could do it with different tones and things like that and make it work for the look that you're going to create, and then you could just apply whatever shadow you want kind of in the center or on the lid. I just recently got these new NARS Power Chrome loose pigments, and so I think I'm gonna take this darker one, and if it's too dark we can always add the lighter one in the middle, but I'm going to take this darker one called Stricken. This is like sparkly. Alright, so I'm just gonna blend this tone out on the lid. And then I'm just going to pick up on Slam. I'm just gonna use my finger and I'm gonna deposit this color in the center. Next, I am going to just take a makeup remover wipe, and I'm not gonna go right up against the lash line just because I kind of like how that product under there looks. I'm just going to clean up a bit. And now I am going to go do my face. I will come back here to finish everything up and to check in. Okay, so I finished my whole face, and real quick, I am just going to go back in with my bronzer and diffuse right underneath. I like to use this fluffy brush. It's kind of like a flat fluffy brush, and I just look up and I'm not afraid to blend it down. Like, that's pretty far away from my eye. Sometimes blending it down further actually opens up your eye more than just putting one little line underneath. All right, guys, you made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching. I hope these tips are helpful and easy to incorporate into your daily makeup routine. And yeah, that's about it. I will see you guys next time. Bye. Okay, first I am going to peel off the adhesive protector, and I am going to take my right almond crease first and just stick it. I'm going to take the Makeup Revolution Red Reloaded palette, and I am just going to mix these two purpley magenta colors. Then with my pencil brush, I am going to go right up as close to the edge of my crease piece as possible and just buff this tone in. Next, with a new brush, I'm going to pick up on the Essence Fire palette and grab that corally red tone, and I'm just going to buff right on top. Then I'm going to pick up on the more orange coral shade from the same palette. And again, I'm just going to buff right on top. With a fluffy brush and Serendipity from the Profusion Sienna's palette, I am just going to blend right at the top. And before I move on to the other side, I just like to wipe off the makeup, peel off the crease, and re-protect it with the adhesive protector. So now I'm gonna go do the other side real quick, and then I'll pop back on here for the rest of my lid. Next, I am going to spray my MAC 242 brush. And then I'm going to pick on this color from the Essence Air palette. I'm just going to pack it on my lid. I'm going to go back into that Makeup Revolution palette and pick up on that lighter magenta shade. And I'm just going to start working it into the outer corners. And then with the same palette and the darker magenta color, I'm just going to focus this really right on that outer corner. And now I am just going to clean up with a makeup remover wipe. And I'm going to do the rest of my makeup off camera, and I'll come back to show you guys the finished product. Alright guys, this is the final look. I really